Hi guys, I just did like 5 or 6 minutes worth of video. I hadn't pushed record, so I'm a bit annoyed with myself. What we're going to talk about is outlining versus a pantster. When I first started writing, I was a pantster. I just started honing in, just got there and pounded away on the keyboard. It all started because my brother-in-law told me an idea he had for a story and said, you like writing, you should do a movie. So I just started writing it out in Word. And then I realised the Word template you can download from Word is crap. So I did a bit of research, found Celtx, bought that, and it was great. It just starts putting in your titles, gets all your formatting right. I was using the iPad app as well. They changed it, didn't like it anymore. Looked around, used Amazon Story, Adobe Story, used all sorts of stuff, and I've settled on Write a Duet. That's just me. So that's what I use. And I've become a little bit more structured, not so much a pantster anymore. I tend to outline now, but I don't outline like everyone else. I use dot points. So I'll put some dot points in. That gives me the frame for the story. This is what it's going to be about. This person, he sort of wants this, he wants that. Here's some obstacles, whatever. Then I'll do what I call force field analysis. It's an Intel tool. I'll draw a line down the middle of a page. I'll pose a question or put a need there, and then I'll put all the things that are against it on the other side. Then I'll pose another question and more, and keep going back and forth till I've exhausted all the things on the left-hand side that make up the story. And sometimes the things on the right feed into another question on the left. And I sort of get rid of that, and it gives me all these events or all these things that could happen. Sometimes they'll contradict each other, and so you move them around. So what this does, it lets you see the holes in your story. That's one advantage of outlining. You get to see the holes in the story. And then you can patch them. So you go, this point down here contradicts that point up there. Okay, so what do I need to introduce to make those 2 points work? Or I can get rid of one. You see the holes. You also get to see the whole movie. You get to see where it starts, where it finishes. What you think is the end point when it's in your head and you're writing towards it as a pantster might be the midpoint, and then you'll find there's more story at the end. It might get rid of it, don't cut it all away. But you get to see the whole story. You also get familiar with the story. You get to understand what it's really about. You know the characters. You know how often Jimmy Joe appears, how often something else happens. You get to know the guy has a poodle. All those sorts of things happen. So you become more familiar with the story because you're seeing it in its entirety. You're not discovering it as you go, which is an advantage to the pantster when I get over there. You also find the pace of the story. As you're planning it out, is a lot of little things happening all the time very quickly. Is it a gangster film where it's trick and change, a new bit of information, and this guy kills that guy and that triggers this, and then the police come? Is it all these things happening? You understand the pace of the story. And you also get to know, there's been a few questions lately I've seen around. I've done another video about this. When people say, I'm running out of pages, they normally start with an innocent question. Can a feature film be 65 pages long? And what's happened is that they don't really have a second act. They've run out of stuff to talk about in Act 2. So Act 2 becomes very short, which means if they had have outlined it, they would have seen that. They would have seen, I need to pose more questions in Act 1. Maybe I need to change something at the start of Act 2 so it reflects in the end of Act 2 and can pay off in Act 3. I need to get more characters, more story, more events, more changes, more things in Act 2, because I can see now I've only got 45 dot points. I really don't think a feature film starts till about maybe 50 at the smallest. 75. If I've got 75 things to talk about, 75 sentences, points, little positions, that's a feature film. That is enough for me. Even if you do 1.5 pages each one, that's easily 120 pages. 115 or something. That's a feature film. So you can, get enough points and you can see you've got a nice, robust, muscular second act. And it also minimises on wasted effort. In the early days, I would do this. I'd write and write and write and write. And that's when you hear people say, I wrote myself into a corner. That's because you wrote and you didn't really know where you were going. You were feeling your way. And you got to somewhere where there was walls and there was nowhere else to go without throwing away everything you've already done. So they've written yourself into a corner. So if I do the next thing, it's going to contradict and break all that. Or if I do, it's going to the person couldn't have known that. So I'm here now, and he needs to know that to act this way. But you write yourself into a corner. You've come to a situation where you can't get out. When you're outlining, you can see those, and you can write around them. You can plant that little thing that pays off now and gets you out of that corner. I've got a T-shirt. I'm wearing a guitar T-shirt today. My daughter bought me a T-shirt that just says "On Your Left," and I love it because that was in like Infinity War, one of the final Marvel movies of this version of Marvel. But that was planted way back in Captain America when he's running past that the Falcon. Is it the Falcon? Yeah, the Falcon. Every time he goes past, he just goes, "On your left, on your left." And then in the last film, Cap is there, about to die, and Falcon comes to save him, and as he comes in, all you can hear is "On your left." And it pays it off from 5 or 6 or 7 films earlier. When you're outlining, you can sort of say, "I'm going to grab that from back there and put that in here." Or, "Oh, I really want a buddy sort of, I've got your back buddy thing here. So I can plant it in here as a completely innocuous little joke. On your left, on your left, on your left," every time he runs past him. And we'll pay it off in 7 films' time. All that comes in planning. It's a bit like going on holidays. You book your hotel room, you know where your rest breaks are, you've got enough food in the car, you've got the dogs packed away, whatever you're going to do, you're heading on holidays. Versus as a pantster, you say, "Let's drive north and see where it takes us." Both are valid holidays. One has more planning, has events you can do. When you get there, you're not going to be upset because suddenly Wally World's closed. You know what you're doing. Now, the advantages of being a pantster: you find the film as you write. What you think is a good idea, you'll suddenly, and this is a great thing too, once you get creativity going, it starts to take you off in this direction. You may just delete, which is what happened. I almost deleted 11 pages off the front of a screenplay, made it a better screenplay, because that was a bit of my pantster days when I was just writing. So you write, and suddenly you go, "Hold on, there's a whole interesting story over here. I'm going to examine that." And you can expand in all directions and find your story. Some people say being a pantster is outlining, but you're just outlining in a screenplay format. Comes and goes. Other people say you can be a pantster, write your whole screenplay, but be prepared to do a lot of editing. I do a lot of editing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I also edit while I write. If I don't like how some things are happening, I'll go back and fix them. I'm not really a vomit draft sort of guy too much. I'm sort of growing out of that. You also don't feel the need for a beat sheet, which, depending on how you do a beat sheet, might be a good thing. I'm not a big fan of the beat sheets that go, here's your 4 beats for Act 1, here's 15 or 10 beats for Act 2, then 3 beats for Act 3, and in the middle beat, you have to have a revert. You just write. But free abandon. The story pours out of you. But, like I said, you could write yourself into a corner, something you don't really want. But it gives you the ability to chop and change and throw things about and throw things away. Pantstering is another form of outlining, but your end result, it takes a lot longer, your end result is a screenplay. The end result of outlining is an outline, and then you have to write the screenplay. Some people want to remove that first outline step and outline as they write. So they're writing by the seat of their pants. Pantsters. Depends how you feel. I've grown more towards outlining because I suppose it's that sunk cost fallacy. I don't feel, if I wrote 50 pages, I might feel the need to keep going and finish a screenplay. In the early days, I would have for sure, because that's a great learning experience just to finish something. But now I'd probably go, it's not really a film. I should have really thought about that one and throw it away. And I'll sit in a drawer half finished. I've got my little plastic drawers over there, these things. They're all little half finished scripts or things, segments, short films. Pantstering will let you do that. It gives you freedom to find things, but also allows you to waste a bit of time. Outlining, I might have to write 3 or 4 pages and realise it's not a film. And for me, throw it away. But I'd feel a bit worse if I was throwing away 50 pages. That's just a quick explanation of 2 things, good things, bad things, like, comment, all that sort of stuff. And until next time, keep writing. Bye, guys.